Start recording.
Start broadcast.
Start broadcasting.
And open chat.
And open chat. Three-hit combo.
Boom, boom.
Can it get any better? It can, because the show is starting. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this Wednesday.
The
end of a month.
25th.
There you go.
Awesome.
Wednesday 25th. Shanhagen's live. We're here talking to...
Tilt it over just a little.
Okay.
Oh, we're figuring stuff out.
Let's just twist that.
Just a tiny bit. There.
You good?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, now I'm clipped out of shot. Nice.
Right.
How's it going, everyone?
Right,
Katie's here, giving demands. I'm over here, moving the camera around.
Doing the things.
For we are a professional show, so we must adjust when we have to.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm good. Hey, everybody. How is it going? Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing alright. I'm busy. I'll tell you guys why I'm busy, actually.
I am also super busy.
You're probably more busy than me, but I'm also busy.
Yeah, I'm trying to get ready for TCAF. We just got word that we've been approved for a table for both days.
Oh!
Which
We're gonna
really
be
excited
at
about.
a table. Which table? Where are we going? Are we upstairs?
Actually,
Where are we?
I don't know yet because there was a strike at the Toronto libraries, so
Oh!
they couldn't get a floor plan.
Ooh.
There we go.
Because floor plans of libraries don't exist.
Exactly.
Elsewhere.
So we don't know where we're sitting yet, but we should know, I guess. Soon.
Hopefully we'll tell you by
the
next week, so you guys can tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
Because TCAF is always a good time. It's always a free good time, a damn good time. We got some big guests coming this year. We got Jeff Smith.
Yeah.
I hear he's walking on by, and he's like, "Oh hey, there's TCAF. I better pop in."
Exactly.
And his good buddy Adam Warren was right behind him. He's like, "Hey, wait for me, Jeff." And they're all just piling on in. And the creator of our favorite kitty cat book, Cheese Sweet Home.
Yeah, that's right.
Konami, I forget, it was Kanada or something like that.
Yeah.
Going to be there too. We got some big guests coming to this year's TCAF, and of course we're there too. So if you want to call us a big guest and say hey, I'll say hey to you too. Jumping in the chat, we got TV Dinner saying hey guys.
Hello.
Adriana7 saying hello. Fitzwibble saying success.
Success. Thank you.
I was reading it backwards just to see like what's going on.
I'm opening up my storyboard because I'm
Katie's getting to work. Excellent.
working.
But yeah, so on top of all this good comic goodness, I can give you guys a heads up on what we're working on. I don't want to give you a heads up yet in case it all just fell apart last minute, but it seems to be happening. I'm not telling you the title of what I'm working on right now, but we're going to be releasing some nerdy tour videos on YouTube for Toronto, targeted towards all you folks who, after the con, where do you go to have some fun and buy more things?
Exactly. If you're stuck here for, well, not stuck. If you have the privilege of
if
being
you have the
in
delight and
Toronto
privilege of being in Toronto,
for an extra couple days.
it's going to be this interactive clickable map type thingy, in as much as YouTube is clickable, and it will break down the city, the core of the downtown, into all the districts. You can find out all the awesome shops I keep talking about in all my other videos and posts, and you can see actually where they all are, how they all relate, and what's in them, and how fun they are. So that's going to be coming out early next week, is the hope. I really do want it out before TCAF because I want to catch that incoming audience. So we're going to be working on this hardcore tomorrow. I think I have some shoot I have to do on Friday and Saturday, but hardcore on Sunday. We're going to be working on this video.
Yeah.
Me and David are over there, and our friend Shaz helping out with some visuals.
Excellent.
And yeah, hopefully that will be informative for all you who wish to travel to Toronto someday.
And entertaining.
Yeah, sort of. We'll see what happens.
So we have a couple new people hanging out.
Yeah, isn't it saying, man, lots of first timers to the show this time.
Welcome.
Oh well, welcome then.
Thank you for stopping by.
Yes.
Yes.
Like this is what we do.
Normally I'm not tucked over here working on a board. Usually I'm working on something I can share with you guys. But I have a huge storyboard deadline right before TCAF.
Yep.
So I can't even take a break for the show.
Nope.
That's what I'm doing over here. So unfortunately I can't share any of this with you by contract. But I am working on a board for Wild Kratts, which is on TV, starring the bros of the Kratts.
If you remember Zaboomafoo,
Yeah,
it was me and you and Zaboomafoo. I can't believe my mind! Guys! Okay.
It sticks in my head. I went to the
'cause
studio
Heather
and they
watched
have
all
the
the
little
time.
claymation toys.
Oh, did they? That's
Like,
adorable.
I was leaping along.
Leap. And he's like, hey, Zaboomafoo!
No, it's funny because like it'll be playing on TV sometimes, and if I'm late on it, like, well, not late, but if I'm like, if there's a deadline looming and I'm just kind of relaxing, watching TV and flipping around, and then Wild Kratts is on for some reason, I'm like, no! It's like, they're like, get back to your desk, Shanahan.
Yeah, you feel like you're not doing your work. It's like they
Zaboomafoo
found you.
slaps me. Get back to your seat.
Nostalgia overload.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good nostalgic time.
Yeah, it's a really fun show to work on.
So while Katie draws, if you're new to the show, usually it is an educational show. You get to learn about the process of comic making and art, and we usually have this camera used for Katie Cam, this one right here.
Yeah.
And it's usually over her shoulder and she's drawing and you get to learn. But she's busy, so instead I yap and we talk about movies I hate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's usually how it goes.
Well, but we're not allowed to talk about things you hate anymore because, as we saw in your last video, if you don't like it, it's just not for you.
No, alright, so let's go back a little. So I released a video.
Wonka Pixie, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
for you.
Alright, here we go. So I released a video last week. So for those of you who are new, completely new to the show and don't know anything about us, maybe, I do a lot of, have you watched the Hunger Games already? I have. I already talked about it. I said I liked it. It was a good start to my, I enjoyed it, but we'll get into that in a second. I do YouTube videos, or on and off. The past 4 years or so I've been doing them, and there's kind of waves of when I do a lot of them, and then none of them at all, then a lot of them. So I'm back at that high point where I'm doing a lot of them. And the first video I released, a part of talking to the camera, was how to make sushi roll, laundry sushi,
I like that one.
which people enjoy. And then the second video I released, which was last week, they're every Thursday now, that's my goal. Last week's video was a rant called It's Not For You. And basically it was me tearing in, because rants, whenever I do a rant, video, I go gloves off, and it's almost like a bit of a caricature.
You get
it's just
pretty pissed.
I
never see you that
yeah,
angry.
I'm not actually, not to ruin the magic of ranting, but I'm not that angry over pretty much anything I talked about, but it's a part of the show of ranting. So
yeah, you're a pretty mellow guy.
But essentially what I address is how people tend to hate things that are popular, and that's kind of the core of it. And there is validity to being able to critique things on the premise of, I don't go into this in the video, but you gotta think, what's the point of being a critic? Is it to critique things in hopes of finding ways to improve upon them, or to say it's garbage, don't waste your time with it, and stuff like that?
Well, that's what I look at. A movie I don't like, I'll always find something I do like about it.
Yeah.
As well, because I'm looking at it for maybe the story sucked, but the cinematography was really good, so I can learn from this.
Yeah, there's always something, and overall, and as we talked about in the previous episode, I did not enjoy the Muppet movie because the story had so many holes in it, and it's just, I couldn't get over the fact that, just because the Muppets are back, I couldn't get over that to be it's a good movie. It's it had good songs or two in it, the Muppet performances were fine, the voices were fine, but the plot was just not for me, I could say that, because if everyone else seems to love it.
The put on a show kind of...
It was the whole
mentality just wasn't working for you.
I don't want to re-go over what we did last week, but the main core problem with the Muppets is there's something wrong with that movie, because it's a movie that's celebrating a franchise that says, oh, this franchise isn't valid anymore. Wait, this franchise was valid all along, and everyone loves us. And I sit there watching it, and I'm just this isn't even the story. This is just a relaunch, powdered up to look like a movie. And it just kind of disturbed me. I'm this isn't right. It's just everyone loves Kermit still. Yay, Muppets. Let's go buy more of their stuff. I just couldn't get over the fact that it was... Anyway, watch the previous episode. We go way to... And the whistling. That was we didn't really talk about it, but the whistling was a horrible idea.
Maybe whistling's just not for you.
No. Okay, so, putting this aside, the point of the rant was basically saying there's certain things out there that are clearly not for you. All these people who hating on Twilight... Are you the target market for Twilight, first of all? You can legitimately hate it for if it's poorly written, if it's boring, if it's poisoning the minds of our youth, and if it's promoting abusive animalistic boyfriends to take abuse.
Something you should.
You can critique all that.
Yeah.
But you can't just say it sucks without any backup just because it's popular. Twilight is for girls and it's stupid. It's clearly you're not going to improve it with that critique.
Yeah.
Is there anything I could take from Edward's creepy, he looks pale, and Jacob's hairy and he takes his shirt off.
I feel you do have a right to... it's interesting that you choose that book specifically, because I know you're...
That one's a hotbed, actually. That one's an easy one.
And killing yourself
that one's an easy one to target.
For your Shaggy Reed's Twilight
series. Let me go into this quickly, too.
So, you're reading the content.
Hating, which is an offshoot of critiquing. Being a hater, there's a joy to that. We enjoy hating things. We love to express how bad the things are we don't like. It goes back to the core of gossip. We like talking bad about certain things, so there is enjoyment to it. But
yeah, it's like some of those reality TV shows where I love to I can't watch it though because I don't want to sit there bashing it. But I'll be why do people watch this?
But it's to the point where it's another reality TV show. And why is everyone watching Transformers movies? They're stupid and they suck. They're making another one. And it's to the point where it's like, okay, well, they're making money, and the kids are buying the toys, and they're enjoying it. So who are you to be like, stop enjoying it, children? No.
Yeah.
Like, what are you suggesting they go see outside of that instead? Because this is the one core thing that brings my piss to a boil when it comes to critics, is they love to just rag on things, but they can't give you the alternative. It's like, I'm going to the movies Friday, and it's like, oh, there's a sci-fi movie. It's like, it's bad. Don't go see it. Man, I don't like the director. He directed this musical and it offended me. And it's like, okay, so I shouldn't see it. So what should I see? And it's like, there's nothing in your article that tells me, because I'm going to the theaters anyway on Friday, So what am I going to see?
But at the same time, if you open up a paper and everything just talks about the nice things,
No.
No.
It's not even about that. It's basically about, like, there's so much just hating and pointing out the bad parts. It's like, well, give us, like, an alternative. And when people give you alternatives, it's usually like, this was done better in the 60s. Go watch that. And I'm like, well, that movie's not in the theater right now. I'm glad that the original Dirty Dancing was great in the 70s or whenever, but it's not on the screen right now. So I'm going to watch this Dirty Dancing. I don't know why I picked Dirty Dancing. I just need a remake as an example. It's kind of like, if they're like, oh, Total Recall. Go watch the original instead. I'm like, it's not on that big screen. It's Saturday. I'm going to the pictures.
I'm going to see something.
I want to see sci-fi. I want to see robots fighting. So, what the rant was basically, what I guess some people may have, it didn't really address this point, but you are allowed to critique. I'm not saying if it's horrible, I think it's bad, just don't talk about it. But there's a certain point when things just aren't for you. And the catalyst of this all is Star Wars. This is the reason why I made that video.
Right.
I have now accepted.
We've really enjoyed those rants, though.
Have accepted it's not for us anymore. Star Wars, it was a pleasure. We enjoyed you all in the past. Growing up in a family that was like, oh, you want to watch Star Wars? You're watching it on the TV, on the VHS. I've got it on tape. It's way better. The re-release, it's in theaters now. It's got some new graphics, kind of weird, but it was fun. We shared it as a family. It is dead to us now. And I've come to terms with that. When a franchise does such mind-boggling, stupid things, and I can't get angry anymore. I'm at peace. Goodbye, Star Wars. I enjoyed the video games. I still enjoyed, but even those, I'm done. I'm out. Yeah. So Doctor Who, that's I'm moving on to because I need another sci-fi franchise. So I'm officially moving over to Doctor Who.
Do a little marathon.
Thank you, George Lucas. Goodbye. I will start with the first of the re-releases with Eccleston. I'll move on to David Tennant, I believe.
Actually, we should start back in like the 70s or the 60s.
No, those are not for we gotta get you caught up. That scarf.
You got like 11, 12 doctors.
Oh, you're gonna see the dialects. You don't understand them unless you saw season 3.
You don't understand unless you saw when they were actually garbage pails upside down with plungers. Did you see there was one at C2E2?
Yeah,
I
probably.
Maybe
I didn't actually see that one.
For some reason, it's like the little plunger was just down at butt level, and I was like, how many photos are you taking?
Yeah. So that's the bottom line. So you're allowed to hate things, but also realize some things were not made for you. So what are you going to do? Try to fix it?
Yeah. I guess what it comes down to is it's
fix it for you.
You could sit ranting to yourself, but it's like, sometimes you hate this and someone likes it, and it's not fair of you to tell them they have a bad taste. Their music, their movies.
Like the other core example is just people.
As long as it's not like, obviously like super racist, super sexist.
Oh yeah.
So that stuff is just, obviously that's not what he's talking about.
Yeah. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about like don't stop hating certain things because it's just like just because you don't like it, it's not for you. It's not that simple, but it's like sometimes it's not for you at all. I'm not gonna like turn on Teletubbies and be like, I'm bored. What the heck? Fix it.
Or like our dad who
make it better.
Enjoys watching The Night Garden.
Yeah, well that's different. It's for him apparently. That's different.
It's for him.
So, there's things for you. Now, the other major argument people were like, well, I wouldn't get so mad if it wasn't shoved in my face all the time. I'm like, well, That's the problem with any
That is the
advertising.
thing.
Do you
It's
realize you live in an advertising world where
Yeah.
everything you look at is an ad?
Well,
It's
that's
like,
why I can't really watch TV, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't say that to be like, look at me, I don't watch TV, but it's like as
No.
soon as the commercials come on, I get angry.
and yet
And-
the sweet, sweet irony is now that we watch everything on YouTube, you watch more ads now than you ever have before.
I'll always see like some weird
and it's
short
always
ad
the
beforehand.
same ad.
Yeah, well, you probably watched an
I
ad right
hate
now when
the
you guys
Food
popped
Network.
on Ustream.
I hate their
I
stupid
was watching
kitchen show.
I was watching last week's episode of this because I like to make sure we do,
Yeah.
just things recorded properly. And every 15 minutes there was that kitchen one.
Yeah.
Of like,
Those
they're
guys,
all eating in the back. This restaurant
Yeah.
is out of control.
those guys bought
What about our
every ad
show
slot,
is,
and
like,
it drives me
saying
mad.
this is ad.
And I know it's not for me.
Yeah,
I want to
everybody's
push it
ads
away.
are coming up. Speaking of ads, an ad came up. Yeah.
Brought to
so,
you by this crap.
So unfortunately, watching the ad, I think it's cutting out of us. But of course, these shows are all recorded, so
Yeah.
you can see what we're ranting about
Or we could talk
during
secrets.
the ads. So
Anyway, so I don't want to go too much more into that. Watch the episode, but tomorrow's episode I'm finishing up tonight. Tonally very different
Yes,
from the
right.
rant. So I guess just quickly, the rant video did pick up steam. Katie tumbled it, and then it got 800 retumbles that night.
that thing has about 2,000 tumbles.
And that video has
Wow.
I think maybe about 5,000 views by now, which is
Excellent.
pretty out there for my modern stuff.
You know what? And I didn't tumble it. Somebody tumbled it. Somebody else tumbled it, and then I found it on other people's streams because they were like, "Is this Katie's brother?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it is." And then it's like, Your brother's so hot." I'm like, oh, "Okay."
Really? Still? I thought I grew out of the hot phase. Oh.
It's the beard, just kind of. I'm like, "Oh, that's nice."
What we got? Someone said.
Never
I just want to
say
read
the
it.
word. Oh.
Yeah, where's that again? Is it
Here?
Kano
I hate
can of
commercials.
beans or no? Is it can of beans says Shaggy? Never say the word
Ad. Oh.
again. It will prompt them for everyone.
They're listening.
I think I triggered all the ads. Whoops, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they are depending on where you're from. Fluxfox. is
Yeah,
saying
they
they're
will be different.
Provincial. Here in Montreal, they throw all sorts of French owns.
French ones.
French ones.
French owns.
French owns.
That's what they call ads
I'm
in
logged
France.
in.
French own.
French own.
Yeah, no, it's just and I've had this argument about the ads on YouTube. I know they make money. It's but it's a different formula. Back on the TV, a 30-second ad made sense. On YouTube, we're watching micro videos. Half the stuff we watch. Consider this: a half-hour program on TV is technically 24 minutes plus ads that fill in all that extra time. So the ads are 30 minus 24. Is that 6 or something like that?
That sounds right.
Sure. It's 6 minutes of ads for half an hour worth of viewing. YouTube, you're watching 1 minute to 2 minute long videos with a 30-second ad on
Every
top of it each time.
Yeah.
And that does not make sense. Because, let alone the idea that the ad is the same ad every time or maybe a different one if you're lucky. And some of them you can skip and some you can't. But why do we need 30 seconds? Why don't we just have beep, Tostitos, beep, and your video starts?
Yeah.
I don't
They need to drill it into your brain.
It makes me hate it more.
What makes me hate it more?
I
I'm
look
like,
forward to
maybe-
the Food Network going under.
Maybe Tostitos aren't for me.
I want to see the end of the Food Network because of their ad. I am angered at them because here's the thing: it's like, oh, dude, hilarious video. Let me show it to you, and you're like, ha, 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 this is gonna be fun. And then this 30-second ad shows up. You're like, and it's still gonna, dude, and then you lose all your friends, and no one gets to see the video, and we all end up hating the Food Network.
Yeah.
So bravo,
Nobody
30-second
wants to eat
YouTube
food ever
ads.
again.
There you go, and we all die.
Yeah.
So the Food
Thanks,
Network,
Food Network
killed everyone.
You made me not want to eat food.
That's the problem with 30-second ads. I'm going to turn that into a rant sometime. But going back to it, tomorrow is going to be Cheese Sweet Home, the cute little kitty cat. I reviewed the comic, and it is totally for me
It
because
is
it's
adorable.
adorable.
It's actually one of the few comics I've gotten Jerry to read.
No.
He was like, "Oh, it's just like our cat." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
right."
It's one of those comics that really go into the mind of an animal. If you ever read What's Michael, and it's like, this person knows cats.
Well, this
Like,
person knows grumpy cats. It's like this person knows sweet little cute curious cats. What's Michael is like the most surly soft looking fat cat that just kind of glares at
Godzilla
you.
or whatever. Who's just this cat that one of the best comics in What's Michael's. Basically it's a series that jumps around to different families and scenarios where Michael's owned by different families. But one of them is the neighbors want to get a cat because the other little girl has Michael. So the neighbor girl says, "Oh, there's a kitty out, in the park. He's like, oh, let's go get it. And they see this box in the park, and there's this cat that fills the box. And it's just like lying in it. And he's like, this is the kitty. And the cat grows attached to the dad. It sleeps on him as this giant freaking cat in between his legs. It's like.
I like the one where it's like the Yakuza guy who
secretly loves cats.
No, he loves cats so much.
Agent K or Y or something. The other guy is terrified of cats, and this agent loves cats but can't let anyone know. So he's always there's an episode of what if they found out? It's dramatic shots.
They break in to shoot him, and it's he's in bed with the cat.
With his cat pajamas, and he's like, it's time to die, and he's like, what if they came to kill me, and then they saw the cat? What would I do?
What if they found cat toys in my car? It
was pretty funny, so that's what's mine. So look forward to that review tomorrow. I gotta finish up tonight, so I'm not sleeping.
Cool. Are you gonna go see the retrospective for TCAF?
When's that?
It could be Saturday. There's a whole bunch of events coming
up.
I
just got the email,
TCAF.
actually, for the TCAF events, yeah.
If you're coming to TCAF, check out the website because there's, a whole bunch of after parties. There's a bunch of talks. Friday night, I want to go check out. There's one with Jeff Smith.
Friday's the launch event at the library, isn't it?
I
think it's at the library.
Yeah, I think so. And then there is the official starting party at the pilot.
I think it's Thursday. We're busy because we're going to Avengers opening night.
Oh.
We're going to the Midnight Avengers.
Oh, that was tomorrow. I thought that was next week.
Next week.
I thought it was next.
No, that's next Thursday.
Oh, it's next. Okay.
Yeah, and that's when the TCAF thing's happening.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do it.
So we're going to the Avengers. We're gonna watch that. It's gonna be fun times. And before that, actually, a part of the Hot Docs is the video games, the movie, or it's basically a documentary about the Super Meat Boy guy and the Fez. Basically, it's a video game doc, but it's at the same theater with a simulcast from the Bloor Cinema. So we're just kind of going to go see the video game doc, then get in line and go see Avengers, even though we have tickets. But I guess people are dressing up and stuff, so we might show up. But yeah, we're checking out the Avengers premiere. I'm hearing I haven't heard description of good things. All I know is everyone's liking it. Who's seen it so far? Maybe that's just the press machine.
Who
knows?
Fun.
But it sounds like Avengers did right. Joss Whedon or whoever.
Was it Joss Whedon?
Yeah, I think so. Praise him. He's amazing.
Joss Whedon, the writer, guys. Yes.
I don't know. But I know he
sort of. In my work cave. I just
sort of wrote
Fitzwibble says
Cabin in the Woods.
Oh.
Did he? Which I went to see, and I'm happy to report I enjoyed the hell out of that movie. You come here expecting me to hate everything.
You were really excited about it, and I don't know much about it other than I thought it was a horror movie, and you were like, "It is."
You know what?
But
I'm not. We're not gonna spoil anything. Don't worry. And the initial spoiler you all know already because the commercials did it. And I argue they did good to do that.
Yeah.
Because basically, this isn't a spoiler. This is in the trailer.
You know what, though? There's certain movies I'm glad I didn't know anything about, because I don't want to say anything about it in case people haven't seen Moon.
If I didn't see...
If I saw a trailer for Moon, they totally would have given away what the major twist in the story is, because it's it happens in the first third.
Yeah. Well, there are certain movies I've avoided trailers for, too. But, this movie I would not have seen if I didn't see the trailer with the twist in it. And I argue that if a friend was like, dude, you gotta see this movie, and you're like, oh, it's one of these, and then you're like, duh, that would feel amazing. But... the chances of that scenario happening probably wouldn't happen. So Cabin in the Woods, I debated whether it was smart of them to show their initial twist or not. And even the movie itself actually shows the twist happening right away.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I'd argue that wasn't a twist then, but just in case I won't say it. This is making it really hard for me to explain now.
You want people to see your movie because it has an interesting premise. But it's you can't just come see it because it's we don't believe you that it's good.
No, I can't tell you why.
You have to show the twist.
I'm going to say, for what Cabin in the Woods is really, not even what it's about, but what it's about. There's about, and there's about, and then there's why about.
This is great.
What it's about, it's the about part. I'm like, this is awesome.
Fox says, what is the cross tell?
I can't tell you that because now you won't let me even say what's in the trailer itself. Okay, so let's just say right now, Cabin in the Woods, I say it was smart for them to advertise it the way they did, because otherwise I would not care about it, and then I'd need that friend to be like, no, you gotta see it because of this. Okay, so you will find out what it's about. I love this. Right at the beginning. But then there's all this more stuff what it's about. Because there's why is it about.
Oh, yeah.
Why is what is about. Okay, this is getting really difficult.
So just go see it.
The point is, the final twist, the big explanation for why everything is happening, the final explanation, people are kind of drawn down the line. Like, I've watched the reviews and stuff afterwards, and I talked with friends. In context of the movie, the whole overall premise, the whole big reveal and explanation, can be a little far-fetched. If you look at it in terms of it being like, this is the story and this is what's going on. From the perspective of like what the writers want to do, I enjoy it a lot more being like, this is what the writers are saying about everything. I enjoyed it because of that, but some people are kind of being like, this is a little far-fetched, you know, it's a little much that it worked out this way, you know. But I actually really enjoyed it as a premise. So I'm going to say it's not a slasher horror film, it's a thriller.
You know what? I like a good thriller.
And
I don't like
it as a thriller. You know,
okay.
it is not a slasher horror. It's a thriller with a actually really good sense of humor. I enjoyed the characters. I fully recommend Cabin in the Woods.
Okay.
Go see it. I enjoyed it. You know, I'd argue to say it's not even a slasher film. It's a film about slasher films. But it's not. It's not what it's about.
Okay. Cool.
I liked it. What other movies could we talk about? Last time I actually wanted to talk about Pom Poko a little.
Yes, you've
One
seen
of the Ghibli
I watched
films.
that back when I was living in Ottawa. We had the whole Ghibli collection. I just kind of went through it all.
Because we recently had the Spirited Away films of Studio
I've got the thing
Ghibli.
up there, but
I'm not taking that
rip it down.
We had kind of a little film festival-ish type thingy for all the Ghibli films.
That's right.
Pretty much most of.
I think
there's only 2 of them that were kind of out there that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And by out there, I don't mean like it was weird. It was actually really normal. That's why we never seen them, because it was just.
They're very.
There's Ocean Waves, which is life in high school.
They're very.
And then
very
there's
slice of life.
Only Yesterday, which is life in grade school.
They're very
and
much.
now,
It's interesting that they were animated because
it's
there
like,
was no need for them
to be animated.
And this is
at
an
all.
argument sometimes people have with TV shows where it's like, this is just like talking head sitcom. Like, why couldn't you just film this? But it's like, oh well, the art's fun.
Yeah, like it's
these
like
movies though. It's like it's his style. Or it's the house
it's the studio
style.
style. They're not. These ones we saw weren't Miyazaki.
Oh, true. Yeah, it's the studio style. It's like one I think is based in like a city really, so it's just like really nice attention to detail in all the backgrounds. But it's very much just like, oh, here's Tokyo.
Yeah.
Here's
they're nice to look at,
town.
and they're fun, and they're well written.
And
well, except for
color
Only Yesterday dragged quite a bit.
But they are very just.
Ocean Waves. Yeah,
life.
it was very like even just watching kind of like it felt very much like just an episode of like, you know, you're watching the Peach Girl or something. Like it's basically Ghibli was like, we're gonna make life. It's like, hey, it's Ghibli guys, what you working on next? Totoro's pretty crazy. And it's like, no more crazy. We're just going to do like
there's stories.
Life.
There's not for. I feel like there's stories for older people.
Yeah, to like. Well, a lot of them are about
Only
looking
Yesterday,
back.
I think, is a woman in her 30s who's remembering when she was like 10.
In grade school, and Ocean Waves is
like I think
people
a college
who
age.
graduated and getting married and stuff look back at high school, and it's interesting. What I really enjoyed about Ocean Waves is how it really points out that everything seems so important.
Yeah.
In high school, all these social groups and every action you do, but then you look back and you just kind of laugh over it all.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she was so mad at me back then. Oh.
Yeah,
you know,
it's the stuff that like just.
Yeah.
And of course, it's your world, so it is.
Yeah, your world is entirely important.
But then you come out of it, and it's like, oh, like
it was so small and simple. Like it was like who's going to be class president seems so big and important at the time, but in the broader pictures, there's so much more going on. It's like, oh, it's just those kids.
Gene says Only Yesterday was meant specifically to be a look back at the '60s era in Japan.
I guess
I can see that. Well, because it was very much. Yeah, in that world. But I liked when she went out to the country, too, because it was, like, just a very beautiful... Actually, there was an interesting point in Only Yesterday I liked where she was talking about wanting to get away from the city, wanting to get away from man-made stuff, and then the guy she's friends with there is like, look at, like, you know...
All these rivers are
landscape.
man-made.
This is land-made.
Everything here
these
is
trees
man-made.
We planted, these fields we put together. So you're looking at this saying, like, like, this hasn't been touched by man. But
yeah, it's all
we did
forged.
Have a hand in all this as well. So, I mean, it's nature you're looking to get to, but it isn't...
Yeah.
You
can't get away from the influence of man type of deal.
Yeah, which was very interesting.
So taking that and running with it, Pom Poko is also a very nature story, and I also really enjoyed it. Of all the Ghiblis I've seen, it is probably the most heavily steeped in Japanese culture, mainly because the Pom Poko or the raccoons or the tanukis, whatever you want to call them, with the blatantly visible balls. Testicles.
Lucky balls.
They're lucky, or they're what they call them, pouch. Wink, wink.
fly on their
I don't know if they called it
pouches.
sack or pouch or whatever, but
Floppy balls.
apparently, yeah, floppy balls. But Disney didn't want to release the floppy ball show or whatever.
They did. Come on, Disney. What's up?
I'll say this once: if you've never seen a raccoon kill a man with its testicles,
Oh yeah.
watch Pompoko.
That was. Did he die?
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
crushed a man to death
basically,
with,
well,
they,
not
like,
that,
don't
but
like, fill up
they
the
got all
house
these
with their
they got all these
testicles?
cars to like go off trail and fall off bridges and stuff because they blocked the windshield with their nuts because they just grew, and I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
I've
true.
never seen that before. Thank
What's
you.
his legend?
Yeah, legend has it.
Gene says, "Come on, Disney! All your Disney princes have balls." To which I'd say, not all of them, but
Ooh. But yeah. So it's a very interesting story, and the reason I really like it, I do want to talk about it. This is a show about education, so if you haven't seen it
Let's
yet,
talk
I'm
about
sorry, I'm going to talk about it.
Let's go.
You watch
so
the premise of all right. The premise of Pompoko
Starting back.
is basically the raccoons, the tanuki. They call them raccoons in the movies. Let's just keep it straight for
keep
that.
it simple.
They all live in the woods and outside of Tokyo or wherever, and development is moving into their forests, and it's knocking down. Even like temples are being knocked down and stuff with the proper procedures and stuff. But basically, the city is expanding, and they're losing their homes. And the interesting part of the movie is it kind of cuts back and forth between them being real kind of tanuki raccoons and them being cartoon. Like they'll be running, then they get up and start walking, and they have clothes and stuff on, and basically it's them like fighting back. And if you think it's gonna be like oh, they're gonna fight back and defeat those evil forestry people like in Ferngully or something, or in Over the Hedge, it's like, no, this is a life story. Mm-hmm. And this is what I really respect about it is they show like characters
Struggle.
And stuff like raccoons. They get hit by cars in traffic. They're losing their homes. Horrible things happen. Like no matter how magnificent things they do, it's just like. And what I really respect about it is it's not about this kind of impossible. Let's overcome and win the day. Hooray! We defeated the developers, because that's not going to happen. Everything they do, they'll scare away some, but then more come. Mm-hmm. And it's not about winning, it's about adapting. Mm-hmm. Because as we come close to the end of the movie, it shows them just how they blend into society and stuff like that. And I really respect the movie for going that angle. Because if it was a North American movie, they'd have to win, and then they'd all dance at the end of the contemporary popular music. Don't say they wouldn't. They would. Yeah. It'd be like, we defeated the developers and we got the forest. Hey, funny, I don't know, Fox, lay down that song, Somebody I Used to Know, that's popular. And he's like, okay, now and then I wonder where things, and they all start dancing. It's like, that would be a North American movie. This is very Ghibli. And I fully respect it. It's weird. It's a documentary in a weird way. I watched the English version. It was narrated by Maurice LaMarche, as you will know from Pinky and the Brain, or more contemporary Futurama, as half the cast, like Morbo and Calculon. And so you just hear him talking through the whole movie. You're like, it's weird because he's narrating like the raccoons then went on the 23rd year, the Battle of whatever and stuff. And it's a very interesting movie because it deals with all real subject matters. Like it talks about like in the spring they all want to mate and stuff, and it's like this isn't traditional. No one got it going in Over the Hedge. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like it's a very real movie with fantastical elements.
Yeah, and I find that interesting because it's like you'd almost elements. Like I think some people would argue that those other. No. That was good.
Anyway, continue.
It was like one of those time bomb jokes. We're just kind of sat there. But it's like, some people would argue instead of saying a North American movie would make them dance at the end. It's like, oh no, a kid's movie would make them dance at the end, but this is something more adult. So
I guess you could see, but
it has more weight. But I would argue that
we don't have many adult cartoons to reference for that. I don't even think it would be for
adults per se. I think it is a family film because it's like there are issues that maybe, and this is you gotta do what you gotta do as a parent, but it's like maybe you shouldn't hide all these things from your kids.
Yeah.
Every ending is a happy ending. Maybe you should show them that.
Like I'm not saying every movie has to be Empire Strikes Back.
It's not a mature movie, Pompoko. I mean, there's balls and there's stuff, but it's not. And there's death and there's some sadness there, but it's a story I think that like kids would benefit from.
Is this like
right?
Watership Down or something?
That disturbed me as a kid, but I'm glad I watched it because I was like, those bunnies aren't happy.
Why is the bunny not moving?
I was terrified by the death rabbit for forever, but
I don't even think I've ever watched that whole movie.
It's good. It's
Watership Down.
It's pretty dark. I really enjoyed the book as well.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if it was a movie that wasn't for kids. You know, I mean, it was violent and a little bit scary, so maybe it shouldn't have been. But
well, there's death and stuff in this movie. It's not.
But,
I wouldn't say Pom Poko was violent. Like it's just kind of.
It's got weight. I guess,
It's just kind of sad and normal. Like it's just the raccoons are like desperate for food, and you see one run across the street in a car. Like they don't even like cut away like Disney Lion King style or something. It's just a car reams just plows, and it's not like shot from the front. It's graphic. It's just like it just that just happened.
Like a fast thing.
And you're like,
well,
whoa! It was so quick. It just happened, and it's so real because of that. They didn't do like. They didn't like slow down and have someone go no. It was just raccoons who were like whoa, frig. It's a heavy movie, but once again very life.
Gene says the balls are sort of a cultural thing too. American audiences see the transforming testicles and laugh, but the Japanese audience don't find that funny either.
No, they're just like that's normal.
Japanese mythology has had old paintings of tanukis transforming their balls and attacking people for years.
Yeah, that's kind of what they do.
Awesome.
Well, the greatest is when they all have to pitch together and make a giant nutsack.
Do they do that? I don't remember that.
No, that happened. It's burnt into my memory.
Maybe this isn't for kids.
It's not for you.
It's not for you, children.
It's a very strange movie, but I'm glad I watched it. Even though it was a little felt a little lengthy, it didn't feel boring.
Ghibli movies are pretty
it didn't feel boring like Only Yesterday did at times.
Yeah.
So it actually held my attention the whole way.
They didn't have like a car ride where he's like.
Yeah, and they're talking about nothing forever. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
So wow, what are the odds of that? 2 movie recommendations in one episode of Shanahan's Live. We got Bitter Flip coming in saying, "Hello, Shanahan's. Whoa, I've been wanting to catch this.
Welcome.
Did you catch all the ball talk we just had, or you just got here now?
Because
you just missed it all." I saw earlier on actually someone wrote about Korra. Episode 3 was phenomenal.
Yes.
Oh, I got chills just saying that.
Oh yes.
Korra, I am so excited for what's to come in this series. They are upping what they started in Avatar, and you know it feels like it's dealing with a lot more. I won't say contemporary or even mature, but it's kind of like a lot more real subjects. Where like there's always the looming war and lots of neat stuff going on in Last Airbender, and I liked that it's like there's one constant, thing that war is coming. But this is like now talking. Like, I guess you could say it's kind of X-Men-ish if you think about it. But it's like all this like people like trying to. I can't just watch it.
It's good. It's hard to track. I find it just by like finding these weird sites with like lots of creepy anime girls on the sides. Like okay.
Yeah. That's usually where we find it.
Too naked.
But episode 3 was jaw dropping. It was fun. It's like it's cool to be like see what's going on with all how. Like the reasons, like they never really explained. Like you could say, we gotta stop all the benders, and you're like, boo, they're fighting our favorite heroes. But then you find out why they want to stop the benders. You're like, oh, these guys got legit problems with them.
Yeah, I never thought about that because it's like even the first episode where she deals with the guys who are like strong arming the regular folks.
Yeah.
And it's the team with they each have their powers, and they're like, yeah, you gotta pay for protection. It's like it's so easy for that stuff to. Because the Fire Nation had such a hold on people that they were like the obvious villain.
Yeah, and every other bender were the good benders.
It's
like,
more or less, every other bender was the rebel bender, or
all against the Fire Nation.
Alliance, kind of just afraid of the Fire Nation a little bit, or in, like Legion's working with them. Now it's like that it's a regular city with police and everything.
We don't need bending to function anymore, so why do we have it at all, kind of thing? And it's like
it's like running. Just walking into any major city, but maybe like half of your population has magic powers, where it's like hopefully
you gotta be careful
about
that. Yeah.
But also it's like the people in charge, I guess, have bending powers too. So that's why this faction is coming up saying that like bending is awful and we need to fight against these.
And it's like
people.
There can be legit arguments to that because even if you ask like when the wind guy, what's his face, J.K. Simmons, I forget his name.
Tenzin.
Like he was like, it's impossible. Like no one could like steal someone's bending powers, like steal them away. But like
Aang did.
Yeah, well he said only the Avatar has that power. But then it's like if you ask him like, why do we need benders anymore? It's like, is it just out of tradition? Or are they like necessary for balance? Like this is the interesting question. The whole series I think is going to be asking. It's like back in the
because it's like Aang was needed because the world was out of balance.
Yeah,
and then now
but
it's
like what would a bender do for the world now? Like is it so? This is like that whole. It's an interesting question. So there will be like kind of some parallels to X-Men in a way because of it. I think because it's like they have powers, we hate them, But it's like just to go back, if you haven't actually watched Last Avatar.
Yeah,
you
we
know,
don't want to
Last
spoil
Airbender,
anything because it's
Avatar.
a good series. So you should definitely
It's a
watch
great
it.
series too, because even us saying like all the other, you know, the fire, wind, and rock guys are like the good guys. It's like not necessarily, because there was a rock world. They're all jerks there. Like they're like every faction has its different sides. There's gonna be honorable Fire Nation people and dick other people from the other sides. You know, like you do run into like a lot of Earth Nation people who just weren't pleasant. You know, so I think one of the things about Avatar is it's very balanced. It's very nice. Like as big and scary and evil as you could say the Fire Nation is because of the leaders, there are other members and people are just everyday people. Like the people in the Fire Nation are just going about their business.
Well,
like
that's why I
they're
like season 3 where it's pretty much I think in the Fire Nation. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just like regular people living
Yeah.
under in like the capital city.
they're in
almost, I
a
guess.
military state, but they're not like, yay,
They're
let's
regular-
kill everyone.
They're regular people.
You know,
yeah.
that's just where they were born and that's where they live, and whether they join the army or not, and there you go.
Yeah, and characters is like focus, especially like I just really like Korra like as a character. She's just,
Yes,
her
she's fun.
personality's great. I love how muscular she is and just
She is
how
like well, yeah.
up for everything she is and just really really fun. And like the two guys are really fun.
I don't know when episode 4 is coming out, but like I'm really enjoying. Apparently, it sold really well on the iTunes store as well.
It makes me happy.
Which pisses me off that they don't sell it in Canada because of whatever distribution reasons. These walls got to fall down. Like, what's wrong with? That's a talk for a whole nother day. But honestly, distribution's got to become more streamlined. Cause
I want to pay to watch it.
yeah,
I
would pay for a full quality version.
To find it on random sites of low quality.
Yeah, like I don't know why people are still bent up in traditional like distribution methods. Now that things can be instantaneous, it's like why. You know, let's be more like Valve. Let's get Steam going. Let's let everyone just go nuts. But whatever. I haven't actually looked at the chat much this episode. Anything coming up that we should jump on?
Oh, people are all excited about. Yeah, apparently. Oh, sorry, I watched it, but I'm like, is it Mako or Mako now? I'm like, my head just.
Who?
It's Mako, right?
Who?
The hot guy. Anyway, people are saying he's like Batman. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, is he Batman? He has the sad story.
More or less. I watched it.
There was that funny scene when the other girls see him coming.
Yeah, is that
up
the
the hill.
Like?
She's like,
that drives you crazy in a good way, or?
It's well written. The action is excellent. Oh, there's some really good fight sequences in this one with the, not acupuncture. What is it called? Like guys who hit like
Chi
whatever
blocking.
points, chi blockers. There's some excellent action sequences, and I'm really looking forward to this season. Oh, how many more episodes? Originally, it was supposed to be just like a mini series, but I'm like, dude,
I really
can't
hope they
be just a
do more
mini
of the
series.
seasons.
It's gotta be more. There's more to the story.
Awesome.
Anything going on in the chat there?
Just talking about how awesome Korra is.
Speaking of awesome and flipping that around to nawesome, or not awesome,
Or is it Ranch
I'm
Time?
hearing some unfortunate things around The Hobbit. Now,
I've heard stuff about frame
story
rate
and
problems.
visuals and acting, I assume, are all just as good. Like I can't imagine those being bad. But there's this little crazy fellow by the name of James Cameron. He made this thing called, it's a different Avatar. It's about something else. He is friggin' bent over backwards crazy about 3D, and it's the way of the future and stuff.
Stop it.
But the problem with 24 frames is it's not fast enough for 3D. You know, it's not crisp enough. It's not real enough. So he's pushing for 48 frames as opposed to 24. Now, if you watch TV, most live and television stuff is usually like 29.97 or 30 frames. 24 is a lot more good dramatic TV and movies because it has the cinematic look. It's not like a science. It's just that's what people call it. It's shot at a different frame rate. It looks
what you've come to
cinematic
expect from
a
movies.
movie. So the problem is, like, say you watch a behind-the-scenes documentary on a DVD or a Blu-ray, if you will. The documentary is usually shot at 30, a more real frame rate. The movie is shot at 24, more cinematic, and that way, you know, you'll notice that there's something that's different about the look of it and how it receives light and movement and like motion and stuff like that. So when they shoot the behind-the-scenes and then fade to the footage, it looks drastically different. The Hobbit is being filmed on 48 frames.
Oh, God.
And now a lot of the people who saw 10 minutes of the footage say it looks like HD soap opera. It looks too real.
No.
And like for 3D, it's like, yeah, you're there. It's real. But for a cinematic experience, it's like you're watching the behind the scenes the whole time. Oh, no. And this, a lot of people were not happy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now, I don't know what sweet whispers Cameron put into Jackson's ear and why, you know, he's jumping to it so quick. because I thought the trailer looked fine. I thought the trailer was 24 or whatever frame rate, and I was excited. The trailer looked excellent. The characters looked fun. We got Ian McKellen back. It looked great.
So if the trailers were in 24 frames per second,
it suggests it could be converted, maybe.
So they're filming it in 48, and then you can compress it to make it.
You can change your frame rate to whatever the hell you want. I don't know if.
But if it looks like British TV.
That was the thing. Someone's like, this looks like an episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Because I guess 48 is close to 25 frames. Because the UK runs 25, we run 30 and 24 for film. And it's just like and the other half is that for some reason, because it's a different frame rate. Like you guys, if you ever watch like 28 Days Later, and they got the zombies running fast.
Oh, fast frame rate.
Or you watch Gladiator, and the tiger comes out, and it's fast. That's about shutter speed, where it's basically the more frames you put in, the less. See, this is blurry in my hand right now. Mm-hmm. You don't get that. It looks more like this on every single frame.
And if you see that, all it gives that nightmarish effect. Where if you
it's very unsettling. It's too it's not even real. Like this is real. Mm-hmm. I can see blur on my hand. But when the movie removes the blur, because video doesn't have physical motion, it's pictures. When there's no natural blur, it's unsettling, and it's good for zombie films and action sequences. But for a full-length action adventure fantasy to be real, you're gonna be like,
because I mean, why would they do that?
I don't know.
That's
what have you
so dumb,
Peter Jackson?
Peter.
I know he's got the red.
Yeah, maybe your battle scenes you can do it.
Yeah, war scenes, sure.
If he's pouring a cup of tea and it's like this crazy nightmarish.
Well, if they play Howard Shore's like dun, 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 during all those scenes, it's basically like the beginning. I'll quickly just go back to Hunger Games. I enjoyed the movie, but that shaky cam was the worst thing they could have done for that movie, because the opening 5 minutes is Katniss Evercrack or whatever her name is. What's her name?
Everdeen.
There you go. She's like going for a jog to the woods, and the cameraman's like,
hear him like chopping behind her.
But it's like, it's basically like, if someone is just like picking something up, you don't have to go with the camera. You can just go, huh. She picked it up, but they're trying to make it so raw and real that it's like, dude, calm the hell down. Like as I commented on Twitter that this year's 3D is shaky cam. Because every damn movie I want to see was all about, and I'm like, I'm assuming the DOP makes that noise. But it's like, it's not necessary. Now, to add that shaky cam to 48 frames where there's no natural blurs, it's going to be like, it's not blurring, there's nothing natural about it. It's like, if you ever felt a little nauseous in first-person shooters when you're turning the camera around, a lot of PlayStation ones for some reason do that. I think Gears of War has motion blur. A lot of these games don't have motion blur. So when you whip your head and everything is in focus, your eyes are focusing on everything that's moving. Thus makes you a little motion sick. And so a lot of the newer games do add fake motion blur. So it's like, I can add motion blur in After Effects. Anything that moves, I can have it do this. But when everything is in focus, and that's why I couldn't play Rage. There's this game that the guys who made Doom is on the box. Like, we made Doom. They made this game that's kind of like Borderlands, but not, because it's just post-apocalyptic. It's called Rage. There was no motion blur at all, and I was watching someone play, and I was getting motion sick. I'm like, this hasn't happened to me in years. It's because the graphics were so good, but there was no natural blurring, that I was focusing on everything that was in focus as he was whipping around, and I was just getting dizzy. And so I'm worried, like, I haven't heard that The Hobbit was making anyone sick from motion movement, but it was just visually, like, maybe there's blur. Maybe it's different at 48 and the shutter is a little low. So there might still be motion blur. I haven't heard anything about that. But visually, it looks like an HD soap opera, apparently. It's too real, which is great for 3D, Cameron, if you want to be like, oh, there's a polar bear, I can touch it. But in The Hobbit, I don't know if that's going to work.
Stupid crap with the spiders where it's like, in your face. You're like, why? It's like shooting webs.
He's wrapping you up.
Yeah. They really let these spiders into the theaters so you can be part of the experience.
Yeah. Well, apparently there is 4D movies. When Dave went to Thailand and stuff, he saw Hunger Games in 4D where the chairs slightly shake and like there's wind.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So when Katniss is going across for a jog, and the whole audience gets to feel it.
It's horrible.
I hate these new
I just don't
advances.
like gimmicks. I just want to watch a good
Yeah.
story. I don't need things thrown at me. I don't need the screen.
It's
moving
like,
around.
all right, here's an example of gimmick working. The DS, it had a touchscreen, but they learned to integrate it. Here's an example of gimmicks not working. Everything else. 3D is bullshit. Friggin' moving chairs during your movie's stupid.
Unless it's an actual ride.
The Kinect for your Gears of War or friggin' Mass Effect is ridiculous because they could have just let you use the headset, which works just as well, but no, I gotta yell in the middle of my room when the folks are trying to sleep or whatever. I got roommates and neighbors. I'm like, back me up! Because they had to integrate the Kinect because it's so important to use the microphone, the teeny tiny microphone on the TV. Headset. Could use the
16
headset.
says, I think 4D is going to add smell in the movie. And I think that's something they were trying to invent in
Smell-o-vision.
85. Remember?
Friggin', that was back in
the
the...
Funny episode where Elmer Fudd goes to the future. What was it?
Smell-o-vision,
1980?
what's this? Like, it's so telling. Like, all this stuff we made up is happening. Like, Back to the Future with the friggin' shark coming out, and Marty's like, ah! Like, that's gonna happen. It's already happening. There's 3D projections going on. We've got... friggin' what's his face? Rapper dude who's kind of dead.
Oh, damn it.
Tupac.
Jerry,
Tupac's back and he's touring apparently.
Yeah.
I wrote that script in college. I wrote this script called The Dead Actors Guild. We pitched a series all about bringing back dead performers and who owns the rights to them. And it was all about, it was kind of like a dark comedy where it was like people show up to like funerals of celebrities to like talk to their like widowed and loved ones to get the rights to have them on there. And it was kind of, now I think about it, a weird throwback to the earlier studio system of how people basically owned actors. Like if you were either like an MGM actor or a United Artists actor, you were basically only making movies for one studio. And that opened up later with the studio system breaking and like changing. But the idea was kind of taking it back to that where people were like exclusive to studios because they're digital, they're not real. And it was an interesting, we didn't really make too many episodes. We only wrote like 6 or so. It wasn't.
I remember your teacher was kind of like, "This is weird," and I was like,
"Well,
that's an odd response from like a creative."
Yeah, we pitched it, and for some reason they weren't on board. But I feel like we were telling a tale that's happening now. It's a weird way. It's kind of sad that we didn't go anywhere with it.
I felt like it was something that made like sense with the way everything was going. Because I don't know if you wrote it where they had that Orville Redenbacher's popcorn stuff, where they had like.
I think that was before that. That was before that.
And that was really creepy, and I was like, "This is just like Steven's sketch."
Yeah, and the thing it was kind of weird. It's kind of unfortunate I never pursued it because I never really cared for dramatic TV. But like as far as it was basically a pitching course was what we did, and we pitched this idea, and it kind of got a weird response. And you could say that if say the scripts were not good or whatever. But as a concept though, I was in love with the concept because we had like basically a lot of the drama came from like there being like people who are technicians who are like animators or running these things and things about AI becoming too intelligent and you know what if they don't want to act anymore and
The
stuff.
robot uprising comes and it's all like actors' faces.
Yeah, well not even that, but it was just the idea of like, you know,
building.
projection and you know even AI and stuff and just it was an interesting concept. But like it's happening now, so
relationships with CG.
I just want to say I called it.
Nice.
Like 5-6 years ago, called it.
Yeah.
And it was all about who is now, and the name of the series is called the Dead Actors Guild, but it was the actual company was called the Digital Actors Guild, but that's why it was kind of like a weird dark comedy. It was all about dead actors coming back. Now it wasn't about any real actors. We were going to use all fake ones. And the company we were following was the guys who got like the bottom of the barrel. Like you didn't get those A-listers. You got a lot of like the B and C actors, and that was like the premise.
Strange.
And it was also about like the digital personalities trying to like find their own lives because it's like where else the original actress liked the color blue, this one liked yellow instead. And it was like kind of an interesting story about you know you can mix in like some Matrix stuff and what is real and all these like you know what a Battlestar, but Connie Will's book, I'm not gonna say like we invented it, like other people came to it, but I hadn't actually seen or read anything that was about that. You know, this is the whole, I've had these whole discussions about creativity, and a lot of people will come to the same conclusions just because we all live in the same world. It's that it's that easy.
I'd written a comic called Closet Boy, or maybe you wrote it?
No, we both wrote it technically. We both wrote it
together. It was a comic I made about a character who could travel through closets.
Yeah.
And then I remember we were watching Monsters, Inc. and Pixar's
movie,
and
they travel through
like,
closets.
No!
But like,
but it makes sense.
It's not that they stole our idea. It's that we both live in a world where we have closets.
Because there's monsters in the closet.
Yeah.
Mine is like some kid that goes running through closets and ends up in different people's closets, and he's just kind of, it's his magic power. But
it's essentially,
it makes sense with the monsters because it's like you can make a whole world out of that.
Like there is a difference between people blatantly stealing ideas, but there's also, we do all come to the same conclusions because our world is fairly finite.
That's why you gotta,
to a certain extent, we all experience the same amount of gravity. We all experience the same amount. Like, my vegetables go bad in the fridge just as well as yours. It's like, so we're going to integrate those ideas, and there are people who are like, oh, it's too similar, but it's just like, we all live in the same world. We can all, even when we make up completely abstract stuff, it's all based on our knowing. It's like, let's make this an educational show now. It's like art. You have to learn the fundamentals before you can mess with it. Us living is our fundamentals.
Yeah.
And then we mess with it. So even the most abstract, weird ideas are all based on our concepts of reality.
And that's why you can come up with something that you think is absolutely wacky and out there, and people are like, I can totally identify with that. And then you're able to make a connection. Unless you're but you're gonna find someone to identify with you, I think, no matter how strange and like your levels of perception of things are. But yeah, I mean, and that's why stories work, because if people didn't share similar experiences, you wouldn't get anything that was on TV. You wouldn't get anything you listened to on the radio.
Yeah.
You wouldn't identify with anything.
And this was also annoys me. A lot of people are always like, "Oh, so it's like Romeo and Juliet." It's like, no, it's like that wasn't the only story of two people with a feuding, like with a barrier between them getting together. That's a very common thing. You
look at Celtic mythology, and it's all like you can't get with anyone you want to get with, and then it's just like.
It's like these stories,
of gods,
all of these worlds and lives have existed before, but there's always these 1 or 2, 3 mainstays that are like, oh, that's the one that did it. It's the most well-known one that did it. It's not the only one, so that's my little...
I always find it weird when people say Romeo and Juliet as in a reference to star-crossed lovers and how romantic. So I'm just like, oh, okay.
Those kids were idiots.
It's kind of a sad story. A lot of people died.
So I'm going to fake my death. And then you're gonna fake your death. I'm gonna wake up and then die. Wait, what?
But then it's when you're feeling something.
I guess whatever.
It's all personal.
But yeah, man, I don't even know what topic we're on right now.
Well, they're talking about a Monsters Inc. sequel, and there is a Monsters Inc. sequel. Mike and Sully are in Monster College, I think.
Yeah, Monster University.
Yeah.
They'll probably like have jokes like energy crisis, that'll never happen.
Yeah.
And then in the next movie, that's what it's all about, is the crisis. So like
they'll make it subtle though. It's not going to be super. It'll be like paper paw.
It's like, oh, so like someone's on campus like energy crisis, and Mike's like, that'll never happen.
Yeah, and then go on.
I don't know why I use that accent.
On the way to a party.
It's like, we'll always have energy. And it's both like a subtle reference to the original movie, as well as our current situation, where it's like, we'll always have oil.
I actually didn't know that. Callahan and Black Ice Angel are saying Shakespeare put the story he got, he put the Romeo and Juliet story into Midsummer Night's Dream, and then Black Ice Angel is saying they were kind of mocking it in Midsummer Night's Dream. He was like, "Well, look at this."
He was self-referential. I like that. Yeah, no, I'm not saying anything about whoever, because everyone's like Shakespeare didn't write it.
Oh, sorry, the Shakespeare's.
Whatever. So whoever wrote it, like, good on them. But the whole point is, it's not every story spawns from inspiration from one story. It's just like we all have similar experiences. So, it's not even the argument of an infinite amount of monkeys and typewriters. It's just
the monkeys.
No, it's just like the random chance that if so much chaos would happen. If the chaos of hitting a key so many times, eventually one out of how many times you will get something.
Yeah, I'm just curious what the other stuff
just
is.
The odds are pretty nuts. But the point is just basically like, I could not watch certain books, or watch certain movies and read certain books and come up with the same ideas and be told, like, you copied that. It's like, no, I just lived.
Yeah. I had similar experiences and came up with a different viewpoint. And anyone watch the trailer of Rise of the Guardians?
I watched it.
I watched it. We've seen a lot of promo stuff for it before, though, and that stuff looked awesome.
Yeah. I don't know what the story is now, though. I thought there was...
I find I'm not a huge fan of some trailers. Some trailers I'm just like, but there's other stuff you could show.
That's
awesome.
We've seen some extra
Brave
stuff.
Trailer, there was some stuff in there where I was like...
I heard it was a bit of a spoiler.
A little bit.
The latest one I saw...
I really like just watching the clip of
the one I saw was the Archer clip, because that was at Cabin in the Woods, was the Archer clip.
Just to watch
I heard the fourth trailer, though, is very spoilerific.
I have heard that, yeah. It does, yeah. Gene's saying it's a jumble. It feels like a jumble, because it's like da-da-da, comedy bit, da-da-da, now serious.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like,
I think your trailers you gotta pick.
Yeah.
If it's like...
well, it goes back to even like
we must choose the successor to the Archer family and this and that, and then it's like, punchline, record scratch. It's like dun 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 dun. It's like this Scottish girl has to find her way.
It's not like that.
Dun, 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 dun. What you talking about, Archer?
Is their last name Archer?
No, I don't know what anything's name is. I'm just saying I hate trailers.
Yeah.
The last good trailer ever made was the Sin City one. Oh my god, honestly, that is like one of the few cases where the trailer was so good in the movie.
So excited. We're like, yeah.
Like
I watch it again. And
I blatantly said, I don't care if the movie's bad. This is such a good trailer. Like I'm not even a fan of the band. It's just the song, which is from this band called The Servant. It's called Cells or something like that. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know who they are. I didn't care. The song and the trailer and also what was going for. Like I wasn't even a fan of Sin City. I never read it before. Just the very fact that they were going so out of their way to be like, instead of adapting a comic, we're going to make a comic movie. Like, it's not going to do, like, the panels thing. That was kind of stupid. It just looked exactly like how you could, outside of flattening everyone and having no gradient, like, because there was still, like, texture and color. They could have just flattened everything, like, just make white is white and black is black. They didn't do that. But outside of that is, like, the closest a movie has ever looked like a comic. And I was just excited because of that. And then the movie delivered, too. I really enjoyed it. But that trailer, it's the key moment is when the song goes quiet and the drum picks up, the car's flipping in the snow, and it cuts. I'm like, that sold me. And then it goes like cast, and it's all alphabetical as opposed to who's most important. I'm like, Elijah Wood's at the end because he's W, and then he's there with the glasses. I'm like, oh! And it ends with and then it ends with Bruce Willis pulling the gun out in the narrative, and it's like, walk down the right back alley in Sin City. You'll find anything. I'm like, ah, amazing. Good trailer. So good. That, I can't even. And there's been good trailers for terrible movies too. Like that's a sign of a great editor. And then there's been terrible trailers for good movies. They give away all the good stuff, and you see the movie, and you're like, oh.
I did not want to see Iron Giant based on the trailer. And
we talked about this. I hated Iron Giant because of the trailer at the time. Then once I finally watched it, I'm like, oh, it's actually a good movie. But the trailer was just like, a boy and his robot. Doop, dopple, doo.
It wasn't that.
It was like, Mom, don't look over there. Why? Robot. I'm like, ugh.
Well, that was interesting too at the How to Train Your Dragon trailer. I think we talked about this as well earlier, but the American version's like, it showed the story, but it was still more gag stuff. But then in the Japanese version, it was more the relationship.
Yeah, and the nature, because we don't like relationships.
Relationships, boom.
In America,
where's a butt joke?
Yeah, we need a record scratch in this trailer. Oh yeah, that's gotta be like, you shut your.
And I remember thinking, like, is this movie
son
about,
of
like,
a...
a lot of... I was thinking, like, does this movie have a lot of, like, dick jokes in it? But it's, like, the only, like, maybe pseudo-reference to something.
There was a dick joke in How to Train Your Dragon?
When the tiny dragon comes out, one of the twins is like, well, the boy twin is like, that thing's as big as mine, and then it, like, jumps at him. And it might not have been a dick joke. It could have just been anything. But, like, that was in the trailer, and I was like, oh, that's classy.
And the part where the dragon guy's like, Buttertooth, this is some crazy...
They just make it up swear words.
It'll happen in the movie.
Explosions.
You're gonna want to train your... It's like, okay. I hate trailers officially now. Trailer for 9 was so good, says Hesbel.
Hi, Hesbel.
That was a good trailer. Actually, 9... Here, let's go back to 9. Visually... 9 was phenomenal, and characters were great. The plot was a piece of garbage.
Yeah, it was simple.
It was too simple, and there wasn't enough to do with it. It wasn't for me. At all.
I would not say it was a piece of garbage.
No, okay, I want to say a piece of garbage.
It was based on an interesting short film, and...
I saw the short film. I enjoyed the short film.
Yeah.
My problem with 9 was there wasn't enough to run with, and it felt like they, kind of like when they take a Dr. Zeus movie and stretch it 2 hours. Which somehow worked for Horton Hears a Who. That one worked out well.
Yeah, and I think Heather was saying that the Lorax is good. Or you just have a crush on the Onceler.
I don't know. But my problem with 9 was it was just like, they didn't know how to fill the time. It was Elijah Wood, right? It's always, we've got to go over there. And they get over there and it's like, someone gets kidnapped. We've got to save her. And they save her. Yeah. We've got to go back. And they go back. We gotta go there again.
This
I'm
feels
just
like
like,
Tron to me.
all right. Was that Tron? No, Tron.
Tron's
Oh,
like,
Tron.
she's the most important person.
Oh, my.
And then she's like, here's my disc, and gets caught. And I'm like, what are you doing, Cora?
Tron
So
was just this
dumb.
never-ending, let's go to this point. Good thing there's a train that takes us right there. I'm like, excellent. That'll save us some time. And then they somehow stretch that out. Oh, mercy.
Oh, Heather, there's some Onceler art I'm going to send you that I found.
I want to
I'll post
see
that somewhere.
Lorax, but I protested because of their car commercial.
Because he's like, oh, because he's...
That was sickening.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
I know everything is corrupt and everything's marketed, but honestly, it's like, if you put this in a movie, let's say there was a movie about, you know, the marketing world, and in the movie, the guy's like, let's put the Lorax in a car commercial. You're gonna think that is the dirtiest, lowest thing you can think of for cross promotion.
It would be a plot point in
It
the
is
movie
a
that he has to
joke.
stop
In the
doing
movie,
that.
we would laugh at that. That happened in real life. They made commercials, fully 3D made commercials of a car driving through.
You're so angry you don't even want to
I don't
want
to swear. They drove a car through the Lorax's land and all the nice trees, and all the Dr. Seuss animals are slap happy. I think we talked about this before, but let's just do it again.
Yeah.
They're slap happy in love with this car, like, oh, less carbon emissions? Hoo-ha! And the Lorax is like, that's what I want to ride. I hate
the Lorax
commercialism,
shouldn't even drive a
but I
car.
want to drive that car. He didn't actually say that, but it's just the voice. But that's basically it. He's like, thumbs up for this car, and it's less carbon emissions.
That is evil.
And I'm
'cause
like,
it's
sitting there like shocked. I'm like, I know everything is marketable, but this is like, it's not even like tree seeds or friggin' green bags for your house. This is a car.
Yeah, and no matter
That-
how green you make it, it's
And the
gonna
Lorax
still
was,
be-
the original book was basically he would live, tree gets cut down, he's like, you cut down this tree, and then all these people come in and start selling it, and he's like, my world is being destroyed, and it's all marketing. I'm like, it's Dr. Seuss, like, how fast can you spin? Start spinning in your grave, dude, because this is horrible, like, I can't
Well, 'cause I'm thinking about who's even animating those, or who like
I'm like,
accepted that.
I can't
job.
even. And it's like, it amazes me that I'm even shocked, because I'm like, I should be so, you know, what's the word when you're used to stuff?
Disenchanted.
Well, that's kind of the after effect of it.
Numb.
It's like, well, one of those two. I'm so disenchanted, and friggin', it's happening in front of my eyes. I'm like, how is this even possible? This is a joke in an Adam Sandler movie where it's like, the bad guys are gonna advertise the Lorax with cars, and Sandler's like, we're gonna stop them!
Yeah, where was Sandler?
Where was Sandler to help us?
Oh.
And I'm just like, and you go to the YouTube channel, and it is firebombed with negative comments and,
Good.
and down arrows. I'm like, how is this ever a good idea? And it feels like I'm like immature and like to say like, is nothing sacred? It's like, you know better than anyone, nothing is sacred. The Lorax has spoken via car.
But then I wonder too, where it's like that is like obviously evil, but then it's like the
Oh, there's
the
real
characters
problems.
you use to make you sell toys and to sell like
Yeah.
junk food and
Yeah.
stuff, because it's like, oh, this toy
Yeah.
wants me to buy this, but yeah, that's
Oh, I thought you said like there's real problems in the world. Like, I thought that's what you're going
with
for.
cartoon characters.
So like,
selling
let's step
things
aside.
as well, but
There are real
that's-
problems and bad people in the world. This is very minor. It means nothing. But let's just go back into the world of our childhoods and storytelling.
It's still pretty. No,
This is disgusting!
It just says, "Hey, Shag, it's not for you." But this is the argument where it's like this is something that talks about a problem in the world that
Yeah.
should be fixed.
Let's
And
go
if-
back again. When I said it's not
Going
for
back to
you,
the rant.
I don't mean you can't complain about things like if you have valid reasons. Let's put it that way. No, who's to say what's valid or not? Let's just say it's a feeling.
I'm just noticing Manu 16 is doing the jajas. That's Spanish, right? My
Is
friend-
it? Ja, ja, ja?
Well, my friend's from Argentina, and so she's always with the JJ and the ja. So
I missed the foo
I
foo
just
foo
noticed
foo
that.
from like
But
the
yeah.
uppity. But to go back, you can't do this.
Oops.
Did you close it?
Did I close it? No.
Still
okay,
open.
We're good.
Okay, we thought we
Great,
closed the
again.
feed.
I thought I shut down everything.
Let's remix. What?
Okay.
You can't do this. It just doesn't make sense. Like the Lorax, like everything he represents goes against a car commercial. How? And it feels like that horrible thing, like when a good message gets corrupted. Like that whole thing, like no one can escape the machine of like, you know, people who try to be anti-popular end up being the new popular because of the trend mongers. It's all like, what is popular now? Oh, being against this is popular, so now we make that
Yeah,
popular.
and you know there are corporations that are selling stuff to you right
Yes.
away, and they're
Yes.
fighting off of
You
your
can't get away.
culture,
you know,
sentiments. Because
anti-culture becomes culture unless it's like amazingly offensive that you can't sell it.
Or you're really like just aware of it.
But it's like, screw today's fashions. I'm gonna put my boots on my shoulders, and I'm gonna walk like this. And I'm going to invent music called dubstep. And then the next day, dubstep's already been invented. Now the boots are coming.
I don't think
Wow.
dubstep.
Yeah, it was basically dubstep.
Okay.
Watch any video game commercial and you'll see dubstep. Because dubstep could have been an anti-culture like, ha ha ha, you know, friggin' remixes and the silly sound effects are silly. Let's go. And the next day, everyone's doing dubstep.
Is it actually a man's voice doing
No,
that?
that's me doing it.
Like, that's terrible.
The other big thing of this generation, you'll notice this more next generation when you look back and be like, oh, that was popular, is the Inception thing. So your commercials and trailers these days are either going to be dubstep or in some form or other. Because Inception just like took that off, and now every movie is
I see. Kind of like how stuff was all like chorus music all the time.
So this generation is about the and the blah.
So we're in the
That's our
generation.
I
I think we have our title for this episode.
thought our title was about.
Yeah, okay.
You're either it's generation blah, essentially. Oh God.
Blah, blah.
It's about blah blah.
It's about blah, blah.
But that's it. It's nothing sacred. Everything's marketable. But if we could tell good stories in between, like even the strangest thing I find with the marketing, this is probably the second most tasteless marketing, maybe. Grave of the Fireflies.
No.
The little girl has the little can of candies.
Yeah.
So who, pray tell, is on the can of candies these days when you buy those candies?
No.
The little girl.
No.
She's holding it and she's like, candy?
No.
And that's on the candy cases.
That's horrible.
That's because we want to be connected that she's the one who had the candy. Because
The children that are like starving
Yep.
through Japan, post-war Japan, who are looking for food, and her face is on this candy.
yeah, she's like, candy? I'm like, yeah, that was from that movie. Good job. We made the connection.
Yeah, Jean says her ashes are in the tin.
God.
That's horrible.
And this isn't anything new. This has been around for a while. Like, go to Pacific Mall and I see it right there in the window like, well.
There's no sacred.
Nothing sacred. Don't worry.
And making a buck.
Yeah. It's association. You want to just be like, oh, I watched Grave of the Fireflies. Now I want candy. Cool.
That's so foul.
Maybe it makes sense. Maybe it's a constant reminder. Maybe there's a
Maybe it's supposed to be.
Maybe there's a silver lining.
To make you feel bad.
Maybe that's the
You're
point.
You're supposed to appreciate every candy.
Yeah.
It's like
You look at it and you're like, you know what? That takes me back. So when I look at the Lorax cell in the car, I'm like, you know what? There is less carbon emissions. I'm doing my part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah. I can't forgive that.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I want to end this episode on a down note, but I'm feeling pretty down.
All right, fart joke competition. Go.
Oh, me?
No, I mean
okay, audience.
We're just looking at the chat. We're like, let's get a good fart joke to raise our spirits. All right, Ines is off to a good start with fart. Espel, knock knock.
Okay.
What's up?
What's up, sister? Who's there?
Who's there? There's too many responses. I think Heather wins
sister,
with knock knock. Who's there? Fart.
I don't think I want to open this door.
Oh man, that's some scary stuff behind that door.
Sounds like a bell.
I think we're good.
I like Deadliest Airbender.
Deadliest Airbender is a good runner-up, I think. To knock knock, who's there for?
Because you saw with the airbending, you know, there was like all the dark alternatives like blood bending and lightning.
Oh
so
God.
Fart
bending.
Air.
Well, technically that would be part of airbending.
And I think Emmy had like a drawing of like the last pee bender, where it's like this creepy dude
Technically,
with like a bottle of pee.
Yeah, it's all possible, you know.
You can bend anything.
I want to see like Aang rip one and then gather it and like send it up the mask of like.
Or into like an airbend.
Yeah, it's like,
or like up the nose.
it'd be so tasteless, but I'm like, that could work. Definitely could work.
Yeah, it's cool how you see things like lightning being done in Korra and
so casually, because that's such a big deal.
Too,
the guy was doing lightning. I'm like, yeah, that's a big deal. He does it,
I'm like, awesome.
Like he's
so
basically
cool.
up to the uncle's level.
And
you
he's
know,
making like maybe like $20 like a day. Like
I think no, he was a mobster. He was running.
Okay, but like he's doing his job, like just metal, like lightning, like.
Is that what everyone? Oh yeah, so lightning bending became less of a attachment. That was a whole episode about lightning bending. Now it's like
awesome. Like how do you distract it?
Work
so
time.
You put it in, yeah, he's like on the clock.
I guess I could stop lightning bending.
Whereas when like Azula does it, it's like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, like I guess I could stop making blue fire. Ho hum.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, they really got streamlined that process.
When bloodbending comes back in Korra.
I thought it was gonna mean something because I'm like, when I found out about bloodbending on that episode, I was like,
so dark.
It's gonna get so real. Then it's like, and then I made a mouse open the door.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
true.
Oh.
No, but it's.
And then I made a guy stop. I'm like, she's gonna twist that guy into a ball.
We're thinking that the most horrific, violent things are gonna happen.
But they're just like, I could force a guy to not do things.
Yeah.
I can't move. Bloodbending. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And I was gonna be like.
Me and Heather were watching it, just like this could be so dark if it was any other series, but it's like it's a family-friendly show.
Yeah, like this
is
gonna get so rough.
Of you can just spend someone's water is like
yeah, because we're all full of water.
You can pull you can pull it out of someone.
It's just like
we're thinking like these really creepy animes.
we're thinking anime logic. Like the moon is going to go red.
You're scaring Idness.
And yeah, I'm like, this is gonna happen. I'm like, oh wait, this is Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
This ain't gonna happen.
But on fanfiction.net.
Oh yeah, stuff got
all
real.
All your dreams can come true.
Yep.
All those slashy dreams. Fanfic.
Huh. Well. We almost went an hour and a half with this one.
I know, I was like 30
short.
minutes because I'm busy and I've only done a couple panels.
But I actually talked about everything on my list. The final thing I want to talk about, since if we're going to wrap up soon.
Flux Fox says fart pick. You also win.
Avatar, the last fart bender.
Yeah.
Ava fart. Actually, you know what? Like, this is just an interesting observation I came with now. There's two always offshoots of everything. There's always porn and, like, fart jokes. So you're gonna get like,
are we talking about this?
Avatar, the last schlong bender, and then there's Avatar, fart bender. There's always a constant. There's always gonna be two. There's the immature joke and the porn side. Mm-hmm. Nothing else. Funny that.
Only those two genres.
Strange that. Or like weed. It's like Harry Pothead. We were up all 2 minutes to come up with that one.
Yeah.
And the worst part is it's not a stoner who came up with that. It was a normal guy who likes record scratches in his trailers.
People love those.
No, I don't. I hate that.
I know
it's
you
like,
hate it.
You know what's funnier than a joke? A record scratch before a joke. No, you may have expected me to say something funny because I let it up so dry, but I just told you the facts.
Audiences,
it's not funny.
Market audiences. Record scratch.
What's the next movie to our scene? Ask Anjamare.
Well, I was going to see Avengers, but I might not because I think Thursday's going to be my pass out after deadline
day. With guests coming over. It's like, good night.
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of people staying here.
I was like, see you guys later. Yeah, it's going to be Avengers probably is the next movie. Technically, I'm watching the video game documentary before it. I'm not interested in Dark Shadows, funny enough.
I'm curious about it.
I didn't enjoy Wonderland. A little pretentious for my tastes. It was all like I didn't like Johnny Depp in it, funny enough. I didn't like his Mad Hatter. I'm like, he goes into all these like little rants. I'm like, okay, that's his shtick for this one.
I think
like I love Jack Sparrow. Edward Scissorhands the tops, but the guy from friggin' that Peter Pan, he was a crazy kooky guy on it. But it's just like I didn't like him in at all as a Mad Hatter. I just didn't enjoy it. It was just kind of like, okay, he's like, it's usually like
the dance at the end was weird where he's like, now let's do the what was it, the flipping
the flippity flombadongo.
And they're all like and now
the credits roll.
No, but everybody kind of acknowledges it being weird, and then it's like, and Alice was saving Underland.
Yeah. No, I just didn't care for it. It just didn't work for me. It wasn't. It was like trying to be kooky as opposed to being kooky. There's a fine line between trying and being.
Yeah.
You know, that's like poser. He was a poser, kooky character in that film, I felt. In Pirates, he's perfect.
Because you
buy
that he's a weirdo.
Yeah, I buy it. I didn't buy he was a weirdo in that movie. I'm like, he goes in these little Scottish rants. I'm like, okay.
But for me too, the Mad Hatter is
Got
the
it.
Disney version, where it's just like
Hey, cup or two. He's the best.
mustard. Let's not be silly.
That's actually one of the. Oh, what was that line? They're trying to fix the clock, and he's like, put mustard in it.
He's like, mustard.
Let's not be silly. It gets jam
He's like,
instead.
"No."
I'm like, that's perfect. He's like the best Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Avengers is coming
Yeah.
out.
That Pirates movie's looking good. The new Aardman one.
Oh, that. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know what's even coming into theaters just because I've been so not wanting to sit in a theater.
This is actually going to be maybe. I know everyone says it every year, but this is going to be the biggest year in movies because we got Avengers, we got Prometheus with Ridley Scott back into sci-fi.
I don't know much about it.
Not either, but that trailer with David in it was crazy. He's like, "Hello, I'm David."
Is it a robot?
Yeah. So he's basically kind of they're introducing. It's in
It's
the
the new
world of
HAL.
Alien. You know Aliens movies
Yeah.
with like Bishop.
So
Prometheus
those
is in that
characters
world.
Are kicking around there somewhere.
No, because this is like based before
Well, they're
all
not
that
in the
stuff.
movie,
but
but
it's
it's their
basically
universe.
that universe. So we might
Yeah.
see like a lot of the same brands and stuff like that. But the guy who plays the android in this case is Magneto from First Class, in which we all know
Fassbender.
Magneto and Xavier are like the best parts of that movie. They're making another First Class just because
There's
of
some
that.
silly stuff.
But so Prometheus is looking interesting. What else we got coming? We got Total Recall filmed in
Paranorman.
Toronto. Paranorman coming out.
Total Recall came up and they were looking for extras, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, they're looking for shady people. I was like, Steven, we gotta go. I'm like, I don't have any shady clothes to be like an under character. Like
I should have tried, but I think I was busy. I could have been
That
like,
would've been fun.
"Hey, Total Recall, what you doing over there, boy?" I don't know the characters'
You're the
names.
ginger turf now.
Oh, I'm gonna play a
Turning into
jig
Oliver.
for you.
Just like you join the street urchins, the 20-year-old street urchins.
Lost your memory, have you?
The
Well, join
the
us.
Shaggy Man.
That kind of deal. It'd be fun.
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark
is
Knight
interesting
Rises.
Because, I thought. I remember this when I went to see Mission Impossible. They played like that whole clip from the movie.
Yeah,
in it, but
I didn't see
I
that.
thought I'd walked into the wrong theater, so I was like, "Oh damn, I walked into Batman." I didn't even know it wasn't out yet. It's like I couldn't enjoy it because I'm like, Jerry, I think we're in the wrong theater.
I'm looking forward to that.
What was it?
Because Crazy Nolan wants you not to, he wants you
No,
to
but
feel like
that's
you're
real.
there. It's
It's
raw and
real.
real. I'm surprised he didn't shoot it at
It's
48
scarier.
frames.
You should have done 3D.
Then I could feel
With
like
moving
I'm in the
seats.
room with Bane going, "Oh."
And then Bane sells you a car.
Yeah, and he's like, "The call of emissions is less than
It's like,
this
I
vehicle."
don't know what you're advertising to me. But that's more real.
It's more real because it's like if Bane sold you a car. Men in Black 3 is coming out. I'm curious.
Oh,
I'm curious
yeah.
about it. I'm not excited, but I just like the idea of a guy playing Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that. Batman. What else is coming out? There's quite a few big movies coming out. I'm kind of
Yeah, I
starting to
don't know
forget
too
now.
much.
Anything animated coming out? Is that Giant Flea in Paris coming out? Is it out
Uh,
already?
I don't know.
Monster in Paris?
I think it's coming.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
I'd like
really-
to see it.
it's
I'd like to
really
see the French
pretty.
one though. Actually,
Really
if
pretty.
I can rent it somewhere.
Yeah, if you
Down
rent the DVD, you can probably get it in
from the
French.
place.
Cause yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah. Oh,
really
the
pretty.
plot not.
It's.
I
good.
noticed you
It's-
said
it's-
pretty quite a few times. And
No,
nothing
sorry,
about the
it's
story was riveting.
I find the story's good. It's
Is it
simple,
simple?
but it's
It's
good.
simple.
It works.
Okay.
It works really nice. The
Hotel
character design's really
Transylvania
nice, too.
is an Adam Sandler comedy, isn't it?
Yeah. He's got this Transylvania accent the whole time.
I don't know. I'm just a little biased against animated films that push the actors beyond the story.
Like most.
Like all of them, except for Pixar. Oh, sweet Pixar, you'll save us all, won't you?
Won't you, Pixar?
Yeah.
There'll be some more cars, Pixar.
Oh yeah, I don't like cars.
we really
I forgot
don't like
I've been
cars.
so heated today. I forgot my hatred for cars.
Yeah.
Not cars, the
Was it-
vehicles. Cars,
did
the
you
movie.
watch it? We both
Watched it on the plane. You watched it
but I
silent, and I watched it with audio,
And, then we,
and we had similar
at the end, we were
experiences.
like, so what did you think? Because I had no sound and you had sound, and we pretty much came to like the same conclusion.
Yeah.
About
Oh
it.
shoot, Battleship's coming out. There we go.
Oh damn, Battleship. Oh, Genny Tartovsky's working in Transylvania. I like Genny.
I don't know if that saves it for me just yet.
Well, I'll rent it.
Maybe.
I'll wait for Netflix.
All right, I guess we should start wrapping up. We're in the last
Yeah.
couple minutes, hour and a half
I
show.
gotta focus some more.
Last week, we talked a lot about selling books and promotions and cross sells and stuff like that. The thing was, I was talking about the pitch, the elevator pitch for Silly Kingdom, and how I met up with a guy, or I went to the panel of the guy with the see-through card, Anthony Del Cole from Kills Shakespeare. He had an excellent panel at C2E2 that really changed my mind, and I started replanning things that night. We talked about all that last week. Check that out.
We had a pretty informative episode last week.
The most learning one ever. And the idea was how to sell a book to people who don't know you, don't know your book.
Because we realized with Silly Kingdom, we were selling to an audience of people who knew us, so we didn't ever have to explain it too much.
The basic summary was, we made this. That's all we had to really say.
And so people who liked our work were excited to just see a comedy fantasy. But
so we never
you
really
say humor fantasy to a random person.
Yeah.
It's kinda like,
so we never really learned how to sell it. And so I was doing all like my rethinking and replaying and stuff like that. And last week we talked about the cross sell, which is basically say it's like this meets this to help people get into the mode. But the other thing was the elevator pitch. Like you walked into the elevator.
Alan Moore's there.
We talked about Alan Moore last time. This time, let's say John Lasseter from Pixar is in the elevator. And you're like, bing. He's like, come on, chum. I'm going up to the 12th floor. Haha, I like cars.
Shirts.
And I'm going to the Hawaiian shirt floor. And you're like, oh, crap. He's getting off before me because I'm going to another floor. So I got like 30 seconds to sell him this book.
Before he gets distracted by Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, before the doors open, he's like, hoo-ah! He goes to the Hawaiian shirt thing. So you got 30 seconds of John Lasseter's time, and you got to sell your book. Now, originally, we sold it based on the back. Too long, so I shortened it, and I think I could shorten it even more.
Hey!
So my new elevator pitch is, I have to look at it because now I'm thinking too hard.
He's already moved on now that you pulled your phone out.
Oh, yeah.
Lasseter out!
Lasseter getting a shirt party going on! I don't know what he says. So now I've summed it down to even less, so it's the Kingdom Wizard's 211th birthday, and he'll do everything in his power to stop the party.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
Boom!
That makes sense.
So the shorter version I had from last week said, but when he discovers a plan for a birthday party, he'll do everything in his power to stop it because he's a jerk. But that's too long still. So I'm trying to make it as short as possible. And so, Kingdom Wizard's 211th birthday, and he'll do everything in his power, to stop the party. Boom.
Alright.
Because the very beginning was all like, and then he has all these friends, and they want to celebrate his party, but he doesn't want to celebrate his party, and it takes too long to explain. And when you have, as we discussed last week, when you're trying to convince parents to buy this for the kids, and staring at me with my beard, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
This princess, and just the birthday, and this is great. You gotta keep it quick.
Gene's saying something that I feel like you've said before. Silly Kingdom, stuff happens, boom. You've said that, haven't you?
Probably. That's usually my movie explanations.
Stuff happens, boom.
So while you've joined us in the elevator, hey,
Hi.
do you want a humor fantasy comedy fun time? Well, Silly Kingdom is about the Kingdom Wizard's 211th birthday, and he's gonna do everything in his power to stop the party.
Everything.
How many copies do you want to buy?
I'll have all of them.
I'll tell you where you can buy all of them. You want to go to sillykingdom.com, where you can get the printed version for $10, signed and drawn and stuff by us. Or if you like the future and lasers, you can get the digital copy for $4 PDF, which can go on your tablet device or your PlayStation Vita, because you're not playing.
Great on an iPad.
I heard it looks great in general.
What?
I heard everyone and their enemy should have it so they can become friends and have things in common.
Hooray!
So go now to sillykingdom.com and buy our book, damn it.
I think that's an even better
Stuff happens. Boom. I'm out.
Awesome. Excellent.
So that's that. You're also going to want to check out Cautionary Fables and Fairy Tales from our good friend Kellhound. There's quite a few. It's a fantasy anthology for different artists, different writers, some well-known tales, and some obscure weird ones like ours, Tatterhood. One word. A girl fights trolls with a spoon.
And
Giant
rides a
spoon.
goat.
And she rides a goat. You're going to want to check it out. Tatterhood. Cautionary Fables and Fairy Tales. You can find their big cartel. Just search.
CFFT.bigcartel.com.
You want to check that out. Those are kind of our two most recent, I guess, books. TCAF is coming up next week. It's absolutely free.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be big. Every year it gets better.
There's over 300 people exhibiting from all over the world. We've got artists from Japan and Australia and France and Toronto as well, which is great, and the States, and just it's free. It's absolutely free to attend.
There's lots of events surrounding it too,
Yes.
so see if you can find out when the launches are happening. There's screenings of documentaries with that guy who did the book.
Guy Delis.
Is it? He did the book about working in Korea as an animator. That was I'm horrible at names, but it was a very interesting, very disturbing read too. Very interesting. There's a documentary playing over at the Carlton Cinemas, I believe. I won't be going to that because I'm going to Avengers. we're all going to. It's comic time. We're going to forget this independent stuff. I want big stream DC Marvel stuff.
Nice.
But that's
like
what's going on then.
stuff, though.
Yeah, we're doing that. Otherwise, we're going to be there for the whole weekend. We're going to be around. If you want to hang out, if you want to find out what other awesome things you can do in Toronto, look forward early next week to a YouTube video I'm going to be releasing. It's going to be a series of interactive map video type things that will tell you all the cool comic, video game, food, snacks, and fun times you can have in our fair city while you're in town to see conventions.
There's some good eats here.
And it doesn't just apply to like the TCAF weekend. This is anytime you come to town. If you're coming to town for cons, upcoming shows and musicals. Video Games Live is coming back to Toronto at Massey Hall. You want to check that out because it's one of the funnest shows, live concerts I've ever been to. And I've been 3 or 4 times. I go every year.
It's got good repeat value.
Good repeat value. It's interactive. It's fun. We also have the Zelda Symphony of the Goddess coming up in Toronto at the Sony wherever the hell center. And it's going to be fully orchestrated Zelda music. Fun times. I'm probably going to wear my hat. Yeah. I just gave you a lot of weird updates. Look forward to tomorrow's episode of Talking to the Camera. It's about Cheese Sweet Home, cute little kitty cat review. Gonna have some fun in it, and it's gonna be a lot less stressful than the previous episode, which everyone seemed to jump up in arms about.
No, but that's good because you're doing a discussion. So.
Anything else you want to update with?
No, just come see us at TCAF. We don't know what table we have yet because of the strike that I think the libraries had. They couldn't get a floor plan down, so hopefully soon we'll know where we are. But I mean, come wander around. There's gonna be so many amazing artists there.
This is gonna be a time.
It's one of my favorite conventions.
It's absolutely free.
It's in our city.
Innes says, Shag, did you see the pic of the awesome lighter found? Yes, I did. I saw the mustache. I haven't had a chance to write about it, but I saw a mustache lighter. I might bring my top hat too. To the event. I'm going to dress nice. We're going to sell books at TCAF. Cool. I'm going to be a respectable gentleman.
Okay, Kel's saying she's going to be mailing us book plates for the books to sign to. So we will also have the Cautionary Fables as well. That's in the mail coming.
We're going to have this coming up.
We're going to have this. We're going to have that.
So the Kingdom.
And art prints and our lovely selves just hanging out. Come chat. Come hang out.
And of course, after TCAF, Silly Kingdom 2 is going to go into works.
Yes.
So book 2.
It is. This is my last job contract for a little bit, and then I'm going to go into full production on Silly Kingdom 2.
Someone says she wants a Supergirl print, or he wants Anjamare wants a
Supergirl
Supergirl
okay.
print.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'll have prints there too, right? Follow us on Twitter. We got Katie Shy over here. We got Shaggy Shan over here. We upload silly things. We also have Tumblr and all that good stuff too, of course. Yeah. But if you want to find the most recent updates from us, that's where you go because all our websites are crap.
Yeah,
so go to Twitter.
We're working on a website still.
Yeah, you can go to it, but you don't want to go to it.
There's like one comic.
We don't know how to like stop it from go-to-ableness. We don't know anything about the web. Yeah. Anyone else have anything else to say?
Shaggy doesn't have a Tumblr actually.
I don't have a Tumblr.
You can follow him on YouTube. And
should I? I don't know.
Don't.
I kind of treat Facebook like people treat Tumblr, I guess, because I just upload links and stuff. I was debating whether I should get a Tumblr because I upload like videos all the time, but it's usually just for like friends and stuff. Maybe I should. What's the benefits of Tumblr?
It's just another thing you gotta update.
Damn it! I don't want to do that.
But it's I like it better than Blogger because you interact with people more and you see more stuff. But I mean, if you're trying to not distract yourself, that might not help because I find I can just sit on it scrolling.
Yeah, people at work just kind of do Tumblr all day long, so it's trouble. So I'm not doing Tumblr for now because I gotta get stuff done, and I gotta go finish a video tonight and hopefully be done before 7 in the morning, maybe. Because then
it's like if Facebook and Twitter had a baby.
Basically, I might like it then. Who knows? Yeah. Cool. I think that's all for me. Once again, websites, we got katieshy.com, we got sillykingdom.com.
Yes.
That site works. It does redirect you, but the URL does work.
You just
tell
have
your friends.
To type in Blogspot.
And yeah.
All right. Well, I guess you're.
I want to eat things, so I'm good.
Things, so I'm stop recording the thing.
Sure.
All right. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be here next week. Actually, my friend Angie, I think, will probably be on the show.
Oh, we might even get our British friend Matt if he's in town.
Hey,
he's coming in from the UK. Matt
right.
Jones.
Maybe we'll have a couple art guests just crammed in here beside us.
How many people do we have on Wednesday? Because we just aim the camera at the couch and
yeah,
yell at
we
them.
can do a couch thing. So yeah, next week might be a special guest thing. And we'll
special guest next week. This was episode 30 of Shanahannigan's Live.
Awesome.
Look forward to next week. We're going to have a bunch of fun guests, and it's TCAF week, so we'll see you then.
Amazing.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Stop record.